What's up, Tori? How you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
I'm okay. What did we just get done watching?
Invisible Man. You know this, Tyler.
The Invisible. I have to include you. Okay. You are just as important to this podcast as I pretend to be.
Yes.
So holy shit.
We are co-stars, so.
Okay. So wait, would it be co-stars or co-hosts?
I don't know. What do you call a podcast?
We're a duo.
I mean, yeah.
We're a duo. We are a team.
Whatever.
#TeamTyri. Okay, so let's just real quick fill you in. The last podcast. Hello, guys. The last podcast we did was about Dolittle, and that was the last movie we saw in theaters. And then the coronavirus happened. And
it happened.
Yeah. So long story short, they eventually shut down all theaters, amongst many public things. And a lot of movies have been pushed to Vudu. I don't know if they're anywhere else. Typically,
I don't know.
Yeah, they're just like, ooh, we're Bloodshot's coming to on demand. I'm like, oh fuck, I don't have cable, but it's on Vudu, like on my phone because I'm totally prepared.
It's probably on Amazon.
It could be.
I have Amazon Prime. I can look.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it would be on Prime.
It could be, but on Vudu specifically. There is now a section, a category called Theater at Home. And on this, we have Birds of Prey, Bloodshot, Onward, The Way Back with Ben Affleck, The Invisible Man, The Hunt, and a movie called Emma, which I just realized, it has a period in the title. It's just Emma, period.
That's what her name is, Emma.
Yeah, but it's a period in the... Whatever. Not important. So, yeah, a lot of movies, theaters have shut down. What's really cool is that drive-ins are now... Like, our drive-in that's close to us isn't. They're not open yet. Yeah. It's really weird. I got an email from them, or a Facebook post, because, yeah, I'm nerdy. I follow them. I like going to the drive-in.
Well, I get it.
I mean, we were there once.
It was okay.
I may not return, because you are right.
It's so uncomfortable.
4 hours in a car is very, like, ugh.
Well, at least your car.
Yeah.
If we got a truck and a bed, but then it would defeat the purpose of the...
I know. We would just never stop having sex.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'd watch the movie. I'm that kind of guy. But yeah, so drive-ins have been a thing, which is really cool, but ours isn't open yet. But I got an email from them saying, hey...
We're opening.
No.
Oh. This
was their email. Do you want to guess what they told me?
Hey, there are other drive-ins opening, but we're not going to be one of those. Am I
no.
close?
No.
What?
They said, hey, you can DoorDash our concessions.
What?
They said you can DoorDash our concessions. They said
What's
you could,
the point?
You said they said they could order food, because remember they had like pizza, burgers. I was like, come on. I think it's in April that they might actually be opening
the theater. Yeah, it's freezing. Well, no, I take that back. It's not freezing, but it's like, still cold.
And I think they also said the flea market's opening up.
What?
Soon? That or it's already I don't know.
Why would the flea market open? That's like 1 million people.
But I remember just getting an email from the drive-in saying like, hey, we're not open yet, but come eat our food. I'm like, what the hell?
The weather, I'm not going to go into a rant because we promised each other that we weren't. But
yeah.
The fact that people are like, oh, you could do this, but you can't do this at all.
Because
that's human contact. But you can do this.
Yeah, I love how it's like, all right, guys, social distance. But also, here are 27 new ways to be close to each other.
Exactly. Like go to the grocery store and be around 1 million people.
So here, Tori and I are smart. Well, let's backtrack a little bit. After we saw Dolittle, we did want to go see movies, and I had tickets to see The Quiet Place. And that's when movies were still open. At the time, AMC was like, yo, if 100 people can fit in this theater, we're only selling 50 tickets. And I was like, damn, this is a big deal. But then our theater, which is Marcus Cinemas, which there's only like 2 in Ohio, and we live like 20 minutes from both of them. Like,
really? Well, that's not right.
We live 20 minutes from the furthest one, and then like 2 minutes.
Are there really only 2?
I think so.
I feel special.
I can look it up real quick.
Because I love Marcus. I like Marcus way more than AMC.
Well, the only thing I don't like about Marcus is that they have a really weird thing with Chevy.
Yeah, but it's funny. You're like,
oh, dude, here, the app says our theaters are on an intermission. Our 85th anniversary year celebration will continue when our theaters reopen. Watch for updates. 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 Let me look. So we got theaters. There's Illinois, Missouri, Colorado, Wisconsin. Here. Ohio. There's only 2.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Seriously? We're actually pretty close to the other
Yeah,
one.
Virginia, New York, Arkansas, Georgia, Nebraska, Minnesota.
Really?
Us. Pennsylvania, Louisiana, North Dakota, Iowa, Kentucky, Texas, Wisconsin, Colorado, Missouri, and Illinois. Not a lot.
You gotta admit, you love watching those Mark Lane Marcus.
Hi, guys. My name's Greg Marcus. Thank you for coming to my theater. I love the movies, and
So does my dad.
yeah, they're very cute and adorable. I love going to the
is.
movies. So this time,
makes you
this
sad.
whole pandemic is like, yeah, people are getting sick. That's sad, but it's like, no, I love the movies. That's like, what if you got like a season pass to Disney World or something? You were looking so forward to it, and then it's like, ugh. And then it's like you can't. The movies you can postpone because those are all year round, except for right now. But like amusement parks. I'm so.
You're probably
that
tired.
movie wired me up so much.
Okay, well maybe it's the opposite. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm kind of.
But it's I'm like really just the adrenaline because I haven't watched a movie like The Invisible Man in quite some time, and I promise, guys, we will get to that. But like amusement parks, it's like, oh yay, you were open back up. It's like, it's December and it's freezing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would suck. But luckily, me and you, I mean the zoo. I hope we can go to that soon. Hopefully by the summer, things kind of heat back up.
Here's another question, a real quick question.
Go ahead.
Just because they say it's quote unquote over, or it's not like, I mean, no matter what, it's not going to be over. It can still spread, and it can still be like, what do you consider the flu different from this flu? Like, how do you know?
Well, I think you're right in the sense because the flu is just always there.
Yeah.
Every year, it's like, get your flu shot, which I haven't gotten. Should they be doing that?
Don't do no.
Oh.
My point is, will people go back to doing things like shaking hands, and are they gonna freak out? Like, I think that life is a little bit different now.
There's gonna be a long, like, even when this is, even
like
when
what they do after
even when the
H1N1.
yeah, even when the spreading. Oh, it's funny that you mentioned H1N1 because I don't really remember it. I just remember. I remember. Oh, swine flu, but it was either not in the U.S. or it just wasn't as big like this. Because arguably, guys, whether you like it or not, I think
huge. It is huge.
the coronavirus is the hugest thing I've ever seen. If you cough even within a mile next to me, I will kill you. I don't know.
That was pretty good.
That was my Alec Baldwin impression of Donald Trump. Yes, because I can't. I mean, if I try to impersonate Donald Trump, I'm gonna just sound like Alec Baldwin because I'm more used to hearing
like a crazy person.
Yeah, I'm more used to hearing Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Talk Donald Trump than
That's
Donald
you
Trump
don't listen
talk
to
Donald
Trump.
No, politics drive me crazy.
Yeah.
But even when cases have decreased, we have a vaccine now. If God hope that happens.
I really hope so.
The effects of this are going to last a lot longer.
Yeah.
Money, because movie podcasts, I'm gonna try to just keep it more what I will understand. Yeah, darn tootin'. Dude, movie studios are gonna lose a lot of money. Like a big one, for example, Black Widow has been delayed, and that's kind of scary because that's not out until May. I understand, like Fast and Furious, which was April, or not Onward. Onward was already in theaters, and then just theaters got shut down.
Yeah, but also think of it this way: there are other movies. Did they not delay certain movies? Do you remember them? Did they delay or did they not delay other movies that were planning to still come out around that time?
I think they're just like
I mean,
whether or not it's delayed, the theaters themselves are shut down.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying is like, let's say.
So it's like all movies are canceled.
I get that,
yeah.
But I'm saying in like a month, let's say a movie comes out, or is scheduled to come out, and they open them back up. Is it going to play from then, or is it going to play from the movies?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I have so many.
I feel like the second they open theaters back up, if let's just say a movie was, let's just say this clears up hypothetically by June.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it will,
no.
But let's just say there is a movie coming out June 5th, and June 1st theaters open up again. I think that movie that was scheduled to come out on June 5th, assuming they never delayed, will be there.
Yeah. So,
and then let's just say This is the interesting thing for all, like, The Quiet Place. Did I mention? I bought tickets. Yeah, I mentioned that.
You just mentioned that thing.
It was really cool. I got there before the theater closed, like days before the theater closed, and they're really cool. They gave me 2 tickets, and I just have 2 pieces of paper that say, "We're sorry," valid for any movie. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what I'll use them on. Yeah. But, like, A Quiet Place, Part 2, John Krasinski came out because he was the director of that movie, and he said, look, there are theaters across the world. People aren't going to be able to see this movie. That's not fair to my fans. Like, at first you think, oh, yeah, they want to make the most money they can. But no, it's people actually want you to see the art they create. But he's just like, look, it's just delayed indefinitely until we can figure this out. But then there's, like, Fast and Furious. That's like, nah, you guys are getting this next April. Like, they pushed it back like a solid year. And that makes sense, because to my knowledge, that's kind of their release date.
They better be doing some, like, extra work on
for
that
Fast,
shit.
Right. For Fast and Furious
Make it
movies, I
perfect.
think they shoot for April slots. But I brought up Black Widow earlier. People are saying, and you can definitely weigh in on this, that if they, and I mean, they are as of right now, but if they push back Black Widow, that it'll change the whole Marvel slate. I don't think that'll necessarily be true.
Depends on what her part is in the other things.
Her
could
part's
be
dumb.
spoiling, but you don't know. They could be spoiling something that
It could. End credits are very like this, but the way I look at Black Widow is they could honestly not release this movie, and it wouldn't take away from the next movies I see.
But what if she's just alive?
This is like a whole flashback movie. Oh, I hope she's dead. Oh, that's a podcast for another day. Just our Marvel theories. Guys, go watch one of our previous videos where before Tori and I saw Endgame, we just theorized about that. That was fun to do. We should do that for like more podcasts.
Yeah, why not?
We just need big Endgame events, and we also need this virus thing to give us back our movies. Yeah, because Marvel movies like that, like November's, I don't know why I pluralized it there. Yeah. Those are like heavy months to watch movies, so I could see if you push back one, then you're getting really close to other movies, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they had Spider-Man come out like during the same time Avengers came out, so I don't think that's a big deal. But yes, now this is, I think, one of the only few positives, at least regarding movies in this whole pandemic. We now have some movies at home.
Yeah.
That were in theaters. Invisible Man was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Onward was the best movie of the box office. But it was also the lowest box office rating in 20 years.
Which is crazy.
And then I think just this past week, they're like, hey guys, the box office has hit zero
for the first time in like
100.
Ever.
They said like 100 years. And I'm like, movies have probably only been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
And that's really scary. But then I'm also like, could be kind of like guesstimating that number because of the drive-ins we mentioned earlier.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, you got to think about it this way: is people are finding ways to incorporate their old routines into their life right now.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that, if you don't want to watch a movie at home or can't, then you go to the drive-in.
That is funny. Earlier when you and I were talking off camera, off microphone,
Off camera.
is when you said this is kind of going back. It feels a little bit like old times.
It's nice.
Like pre-technology. Because it's interesting because, okay, this is going to sound hypocritical, but when I'm on Instagram, but I see people like, these are quarantine day, like activities they're doing with kids.
People are actually going outside.
They should.
Well, that's exactly, I mean, like out in the backyard.
Yes. Or like they're finger painting with their children.
Yeah.
Or they're spending...
Actually eating together and doing crap together and not going out and eating fast food.
Or they're spending $19.99 plus tax to watch Onward.
I would.
And here's something about Onward specifically. Well, no, not specifically. But kids have this thing where they have to watch movies on repeat.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, Frozen 2's on Disney Plus 5 times
adorable, though.
every day. But for
so
a movie
cute.
like Onward, right? And they sing the one song, and wear
Mommy,
the
I
one
wanna watch it
outfit.
again.
And the mom's like, okay, just puts in her Audible.
Yeah.
So we just I paid the $19.99 plus tax to watch Invisible Man. We had 30 days to watch it once. But could you imagine, like, your kids a lot of kids know how to use phones. What if they just keep buying the movie over and over again?
I have had people who have kids tell me that they bought crap, like a million things off of their phone. They had to, like, because they kept getting phone calls like, did you buy this? Did you purchase this? And
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Or like...
And they find out it's their kids.
Like free games, like Candy Crush, but it's like,
free.
I just bought all the microtransactions is the word.
Yeah, kids don't realize that when they press buttons, they're buying stuff, like using money.
So parents, it's probably too late for you to hear this, but Onward specifically is coming to Disney Plus, and if you have it, it's free. So wait and save your money. Do other things to entertain your children until then.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry for parents who literally look as school as like a church. It's like, oh, sanctuary. I'm free for 7-8 hours.
I mean, you gotta have a break, you know.
Yeah, but we don't have kids, and at this moment, I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, but I want a pet.
Focus, Tori. Look me in the eye.
Maybe if
focus.
I say it on camera or whatever this is, microphone, then they actually do it and like let me have a pet.
I'll give you a cactus.
It's a start.
That's not a start. It's just like, ow! God, I hate this. Well, don't pet it. I need to.
I need something living in this house.
I feel it. We can. No, you are not going to trick me. Yeah, maybe for another day. So yeah.
Speaking of, there's no way to lean into.
You got me all distracted because now I'm thinking about chinchillas.
Man. Oh, I would love a chinchilla.
Yeah. So
you should like this video if you want me to get a chinchilla. Please do.
Right. So yeah, we saw Invisible Man, and before we actually talk about the movie itself, that was interesting.
Real quick. Let's talk about first when we heard about it and watched the preview or whatever trailer.
No, I was gonna first discuss watching a movie that should be in theaters at home.
Tyler, I've already gone through this though.
Yeah, but it was.
It's not new for me. Maybe it's new for you.
Well, I know because we watch movies for the first time at home. But for me, I was like, I remember telling you the minute the movie ended, I was like, thank God we actually were able to watch this movie at home rather than in theaters.
Yeah.
Because I could not have watched that movie without talking.
My God.
The first 20, it wasn't.
You were confused.
Well, it wasn't one of those movies that hit you with exposition immediately.
I like those. And
then it was a lot of quiet moments and no dialogue, and I'm like,
okay,
what is happening, you know?
Yeah.
And then it made sense.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, let's start it off with, let's go from trailer to end since we're trying to get into the movie.
Go ahead.
Okay, so trailer, or when you first heard about it. Like for me personally, I've seen so many movies like that, especially Blumhouse or Blumhouse, however you pronounce it.
I think it's Bloom.
I don't know. Well, anyway, so...
Spelt Blum, so...
Yeah,
I'll accept either way.
Okay. So, my opinion of Blumhouse... I'm just going to say Blumhouse. Usually they're good, but they never either end or begin the way I want them to.
Okay, I see that.
And they always somehow have the, parts that just, irk me.
Yes.
And
I had a lot of those in this movie.
Yeah. So, my first impression, I'm like, oh, God, it's probably one of those movies that you watch and, you think it's good, but then it turns out terrible or something. And that is not the case with what I saw. So, what about you? What did you think about the trailer versus...
So, what you saw was just different than what you expected, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that was a good thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Me... I think I only watched one trailer, but I think I watched it repeatedly. It may have been on Hulu advertisements or something.
That's what it was.
But it was it's a lady. It's your stereotypical woman sees something either supernatural or just really hard to believe. Like someone's got superpowers and you just sound crazy when you explain it to someone. And so then eventually everyone...
Is that what you got from the trailer?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, what I saw was a woman who... witnessed something crazy, but no one believed her. So then people thought she was crazy. And I was like, okay, Get that. Very easy to comprehend. And then I remember hearing like, he has found a way to turn himself invisible. And I'm like,
I
okay.
kind of spoiled it for
So there's not a supernatural thing going on.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be scary. I mean, like
it's
if someone was
Blumhouse.
in this room invisible, it wouldn't scare me because I wouldn't know it. But if I did know that someone turned themselves invisible and was doing shit to me, I'd be constantly paranoid.
It's like a ghost.
Constantly paranoid.
Yeah.
That's like even worse. While watching that movie, it gave me I don't know if you've ever seen it, Halloween H2O.
I've seen it, and it's been so long. Is that the one with Jamie?
Yeah, that was her last one.
The lab. That's what I mean.
Yo, what's up, Jamie?
Like all of them have to.
No.
Just that one and the first one, correct?
And
second?
3 of them. Yeah, part 1,
First,
part 2,
and then H2O.
and then I think H2O.
That's right.
Yes, but she.
I did not like that movie.
Yeah, everyone thought she was crazy, but she was like, "Oh, he's here. He's alive. He's going to kill me." And then that happened very quickly in the movie. Go see it. Also, sorry for spoilers, but the podcast is called
Go see it.
Spoiled Popcorn. Well, go watch it. Halloween is one of my favorite things, like franchises, or at least original movies. But that's off topic. But yeah, so I don't watch many scary like suspense thriller movies. I watch a lot of slashers. Like recently, Child's Play. I just finished watching all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, all the Friday the 13th movies. I have Leprechaun waiting for me eventually. So like specific those kinds of movies, but not the most recent. I committed to an accent accidentally. The most recent Blumhouse production I've seen was with you, and it was Happy Death Day to You. Yeah. It's a dumb name. Happy Death Day to You.
It's the second one. They got to come up with a catchy name. It makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you can't be worse than Fast and Furious.
Which I did not realize until yesterday is the name of a different movie in the 1960s.
Yeah, right?
I was like, they're fast and furious. They're riding that buggy like crazy.
Weren't we scrolling through Voodoo?
Yeah.
Voodoo's got a lot of weird shit. Yo, segue. I'm glad I ended the day watching Invisible Man because right before that, I finished watching a movie called Snake Out of Compton. Or Snake Out of Compton. Snakes Out of Compton? Because it's straight out of Compton.
It's supposed to technically, I think
it's
be
Snake.
a sequel to Snakes on a Plane.
It could have been. They straight up mentioned that.
Yeah.
It wasn't Samuel L. Jackson's voice, probably for legal reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's crazy.
Voodoo's got a lot of movies on it. A lot of weird ones. And Tori and I may discuss some of them in the future, but I don't even know if I'll be able to get a single word out.
No. I love B-movies.
But yeah, so we were talking about Happy Death Day to You. The first one, yes, it was scary because it was a killer and a mask. And what really engaged me with that movie is she had to commit to finding him. And the events did not stop happening.
That was definitely a thriller
until
to me.
Until she found out who the killer is.
It was a good thriller.
Yes, that's very Blumhouse.
I like Blumhouse.
But then Happy Death Day to You, it was like,
Blumhouse
hey,
is weird now.
This movie or this phenomenon is explained by a science experiment, and there's really no danger.
Yeah, it kind of took away a little bit of a suspense, but
there was still a killer. But it's like, yeah, the killer was that guy, obviously.
With this
movie was really well done. And
for me, I really thought it was gonna be so played out, and I don't know. There's something about it I wasn't excited to see, but then throughout the whole thing, I think I was super. I wasn't jumpy or anything, but I was just like, what the heck's gonna happen next?
Well, because movies like this have the neck for slowly rising to the occasion. Whereas, and because this is a spoiled rich, I almost said free, like a dumbass. This is a spoiler-heavy podcast. The obvious thing you want to do when someone is invisible, and I talk like I have experience, is you want to make them visible. So when she just threw paint, hoping he was there, and he was, boom. That was fucking awesome. And it scared me, because it's like, damn, he actually is right there.
That's the part that scared me the least, even though I'm just like, dude, it's going to happen. That was a little bit played out just because I knew it was going to happen. But there's a few times where I'm just like, I'm so happy right now because I want it to happen.
Well, yeah. And then I kept telling you throughout the whole movie, I was like, look, you're invisible, but you're a big-ass grown man. You're going to make noise. There's going to be creaky floors or something. So when she's up in an attic and it's like, okay, he's not there because there's no sound. And if he is there...
Somehow he was able to do it.
If he was on the ladder looking up. He wasn't in the attic.
But remember when he was in there, it said, let's see, I think she called...
His phone was up there.
Yes, but when did he say surprise?
He texted her from an unknown
number.
That's
right. He texted her. Okay. I kept thinking he said it.
And I think it was more surprise. You found out the truth. Like, I'm here.
That was his announcement. Like, hey, you're right.
Yep. And then back to the paint thing. That happened relatively early. Like, at least middle.
Yeah.
And so then it was like, wow, you did it.
You knew.
You found it out. And then, like, there was way more movie after that. And that's when you were like, how does this go on? And that's what I was thinking.
Dude, I will admit, though, I am pretty good at guessing things.
Mm-hmm. It's uncanny.
And like, I'm not one to brag, because I don't really brag about, I don't have anything to brag about other than like the fact that I'm good at thinking about every possibility, but then playing the right one somehow. And I was like, dude, what if it was
someone else?
Fucking his brother.
Yeah.
And it was. And then I don't know if they were both there. Like I said, they were both probably there, because how in the hell did he go into that room and then come back and like he did like two things at once?
Yeah, very quick. You're probably right. There probably were two people there, and it was probably really easy to get away with that because she's only focused on there being just her ex-husband.
Yes.
Okay.
Technically, it would have been her. It's technically still her husband, because the only reason why they were...
I was about to say, I don't think they ever said ex or divorce. Oh, interesting. See, that's just a little more exposition. Like, the whole beginning scene, I was like, who is he? Is she bad? Is he bad? Did he poison her? Did she poison him? I don't know.
No, I just know it started out with her...
It made a lot of sense,
putting medicine in there, trying to drug him for him to sleep so she can get out of there.
And the thing that's interesting is that... while that is a very, very, very advanced suit, it makes sense. Because it's like, it turns out he was abusive. Mm-hmm. And she needed to get away from him. And that was the way she could do it. And their house was bomb. That was fucking awesome. And how could he afford it? Because he can make things like that.
How do they not know? Like, if she's saying, hey, yo, he made a suit with things that he can make invisible, and it's like, oh, I can't believe any of that, because he's not smart enough for that, even though he's a scientist.
That's straight up just like, yo, Tony Stark, he's got a suit, and it's like, yeah, she's telling the truth, he does suits.
Yeah, like, I don't understand how they didn't believe her.
Super smart dude who works with optical things, you know.
And then on top of that, when they fucking found out it was his brother, well, quote unquote his brother.
Wait, is it not his brother?
No, it was his brother, but like...
At what points was it?
Exactly.
Yes.
But they're just like, oh, it couldn't have been this guy. He was locked up in his basement. He's not smart enough to try and do that himself. He's a scientist.
That was an interesting thing, because when she finally got, like, the main... Like, the guy we wanted to believe her, then she's like, but wait, that's not actually how it is. And then it's like... Yeah. And I remember you got mad. And you're just like, bro, fucking believe her now. Everything that she was trying to make you believe was just proven. Believe her again.
I think a part of him did, because he's like, I mean, obviously he did, because he went to the house so he could listen in on the conversation of him admitting what he did, even though what guy would ever actually admit it? He's too much of a PUC.
Well, honestly, I thought... You a pussy.
Yeah, I don't like saying that word.
Oh, that's fine.
Not on video or camera.
That's
fine.
Anyway. But you were right in that. I think the best way to get to a guy like that, because he had to have control in everything, is to just piss him off.
Yeah, I mean, it worked to an extent. I think she had a different agenda.
It was the weakest of confessions. it was just like, I'm gonna confess by an inside joke that
Yeah.
still can be. I mean, all he said was
he got his cake and he ate it too.
yeah. He said surprise, and that's a very common phrase, but
he said it the way that
was how that he texted her surprise.
Yeah.
So she's like,
boom. He did say it though at some point in the movie. Remember, it was like it. It was right after he had texted her, and then she.
Right. Yeah.
Where was it? I can't remember, but the voice. Remember, she
yeah,
was
he said
sleeping.
surprise. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and
it was very. Have you ever seen? Did you watch all the Hunger Games movies?
Not the last one.
And I say that because I don't know which movie this is from, but
not the last one.
Katniss gets a flower, like a white rose, and she starts freaking out, like Jennifer Lawrence screaming, freaking out, because she was the only one that knew what that rose meant. And it was from President Snow, and that he was going to kill someone, either her family or something.
Was that the third movie?
Could have been. I know it's not the second or the first.
Was it at the end?
Yeah, I think you're right. And then
that was the only movie. Well,
because it was a 1 and 2-parter. I mean, we don't have to go really into it, but that's the example of like, oh look, she just gets a rose, but then that one person knows, holy shit, things are about to like this is
that's the worst.
And so then when he said surprise, she was just like, yep, here's my master plan. But a lot of things just didn't work out the way that they could have. So when he started doing shit in the kitchen, like one of the first scenes, and he turned the fire up on the stove, and then the thing boosted, blazed, the flames
came up.
Yes, the flames are fired. I don't know. But then the daughter, who I'm assuming is like 18 because she's talking about college and stuff, she gets the fire extinguisher. And then at the end, that's what she uses. And I like when movies do that.
They add in multiple, like, Easter eggs? I don't know what to call it.
Kinda. It's foreshadowing a little bit.
Well, just like we were just talking about, the jellyfish on the pajamas.
Yes.
The brother was called a jellyfish.
She said, wow. When she said that, I was like, just call this man a jellyfish? But then it's like, yeah, you're all of him, but no spine. And I was like, oh shit, burn!
That was literally what I was thinking. I'm like, dude, she's savage.
And then maybe that's why he got the suit. Just to prove that he could be like his brother with a spine. Huh?
Maybe, but I think obviously it was the brother controlling the other brother.
Yeah, because he is controlling and gets in people's heads.
He does.
But
that shit was cray-cray.
Yes, like what they did with the fire extinguisher, they didn't do with when she had the suit. She hid it in the closet, and then it was just never...
never proven?
Like, I'm assuming she had the suit at the end. That was her. That finally killed Adrian.
Which that was fucking quick.
That was. But we didn't really see her, like, get the suit from the closet. She was in the bathroom, came out of the bathroom. I was just like...
That was the point of, I think, the ending was... Yeah. It was so good because I literally thought someone had put on a suit and also, she came out.
Very good actress.
Yeah.
It's like Anne Hathaway in Dark Knight Rises.
I wouldn't have picked anyone else to play any other character in them. Like the whole Johnny Depp, we thought that he was going to play...
Straight up,
Invisible Man.
I don't know. I know I mentioned Amy Poehler to you. But I think it's just because I'm hearing her voice at some points, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Amy Poehler.
And she was a blonde and kind of looks similar to the speech. I get it.
But when movies like this come out, I'm glad most of the time that they are people I don't really know. Because I'm not just going to be like, fucking that's Leslie Knope.
Yeah.
The whole time. That's
exactly.
Amy Poehler.
You're distracted.
Yeah. So, no, that was a very, very... Dude, that...
It was well played out.
Yeah.
Can we please talk about the angles?
Oh my god, yeah. Very good camera work. That was like some Fast and Furious kind of cinematic shit.
But almost better because the way that they had it was like you saw everything.
The camera in a way kind of had to act like a character itself.
Yeah, because it moved with the person he was whatever.
Yeah, because...
That was kind of crazy.
There was there was the scene at the end when the daughter was going to get like killed or something.
Yeah.
And then it's walking towards her, the room. And I was like, oh, this is his perspective. But then the door opened and I was like, oh no, this is the camera following him.
Yeah,
and so that was really fun. It's like, you guys did very well in making us believe that there is a person there when in fact we are looking at like
Nothing.
very little.
Yeah, very little. I would say like
there was just a few
slight
scenes.
Move.
When it was raining, and dude, that scene at the when they were outside and like she went outside very paranoid, and she was breathing, and
then he's breathing
hot
her.
breath, cold air. You see this puff, but then there's a puff right next to her. I was like, oh, like it didn't scare me, but I was like, oh shit. And then what really sucked is I kept wanting to rewind it, and I was able to do that. We did at one point when she put the knife down, and then the knife just slipped off the table, and we're like, holy shit, did someone just grab that? So that was a good reason why I was thankful that we were able to watch this at home. Not that I'm thankful that this happened, but watching that movie in theaters versus watching it here, it was much more beneficial to me because
us.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say to me because I had a lot of questions. You knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Tori, what the fuck? And you're like, dude, you're dumb. And
I was just like, how do you not know this is going on?
And I was like, because they didn't explain it to me. I needed spoon-fed.
You gotta do context clues, mister.
Yeah. Well, I had it eventually.
Yeah. I mean, after they said
it. There's always the part of me that's like, but if I don't understand the beginning of the movie, am I just going to be lost the rest of the time? But no, they quickly...
Yeah, but you got to have an open mind.
You got to have an open mind, man.
Man.
You got to have an open mind. I tried to sound like Sean, but I couldn't do it.
I got that's what you meant, though.
Oh, dude, man. Nope, I'm sorry.
You sound like a surfer.
Oh, dude, hang tight. You dip, and then there's like water, and below beware the jellyfish.
Anyway.
Woo!
But yeah, that, and then I guess we can finish off. I don't know how long you want to go for, but what was the last thing we were going to talk about? We were going to talk about how frustrated we were.
Oh, fucking, this movie did a lot of dumb things. Okay, invisible or not, it's just a dude in a suit. Mm-hmm. If he has a gun, you can see the gun. If he has a knife, you can see the knife in that one fucking scene. Do you know what scene I'm talking about?
There was multiple scenes with knives.
Okay. But
there was one where I was like genuinely surprised, and I was like, what the fuck?
The dinner scene?
Yes.
Yes. Because, like, for example, that early scene that I mentioned, when she put the knife down on the table, walked out of scene, and then he immediately grabbed the knife, we saw that because it's in frame.
Yes.
But when that chick looks over, and then we just
and her
see...
face is so, like what so surprised.
Fuck?
Yeah.
And it's like we see a knife, but it just takes us a minute to process that. And it's like, before you know it, dead, and then the knife immediately is put in the chick's hand.
It was so good, though. I was so pissed, and like, because I really liked, well, kind of liked the sister. And the fact that she was about to prove to her that this guy is fucking wearing a suit.
Yeah. It's like, no, you can't do it. I'm like, dude, this guy...
In public.
And I legitimately was going to say, but I hate talking this much during movies, so this was like the one comment I didn't want to make, and then it was proven wrong. I was like, wow, that's very smart of her to meet in public. Nope, didn't stop him. Did not stop him.
I think it kind of egged him on a bit. Like, it made him, like, want to do more things. Like he was getting a kick out of it.
Oh, and he lost control for a moment. Because his main goal, and this is also what I liked, was a clear motive, is that he is a very controlling husband. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming they were married. Once again, didn't pay attention to that. We'll just say they're married. And so he only wanted her to know that he was alive. He wanted people to think she was crazy. He wanted to torture her forever.
Yeah.
So the minute...
Because he wanted her with him.
Yes. And so the minute... She was like, hey, no, this guy's right here. He's like, oh, no, that's not my plan.
Yeah.
Dead. Now people think you're even, like, people thought you were a murderer. Everyone freaked out in the restaurant.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
I really, like, in a lot of movies, I'm like, oh, that was surprising. But, I can kind of see that happening. But then, no, this, I don't know why, but I just did not expect all that shit to happen.
Yeah. Dude, this movie was... It was a nice change of pace from the slow build-up. Like, one of my favorite, I mentioned it earlier, one of my favorite scary movies of all time is the original Halloween. And it's supposed to scare you about every 10 minutes, but it just builds up, and then at the end, all of it. But this movie, it's like, no, you're not going to know what's going to happen. And on top of that, you can't see what's going to happen until boom, it's happening.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I never sat there being like, why is he doing this? I was like, oh no, I get it. He's just a dick.
Oh, he was more than a dick. He was like evil.
And then I guess
controlling, manipulative.
Yeah, he wanted a baby. She was taking birth control. He found out because obviously.
How the fuck did she not know that he was like doing shit to her? That's the thing. Did she? Oh, I bet you he drugged her with that.
Could have.
Ad,
At this point, yeah, this dude was always like 2 steps ahead. But to segue from that, what made sense to me? Let's go back to. If I talk slowly enough, it'll pop back in my mind. What were we? Something that pissed us off. Oh!
The timing.
No. Just the fact that he's a dude and, like, he kept beating up everyone.
Yeah, and there's a million cops that have more than enough training, I'm sure.
And, like, the moment she stabbed him in the shower, awesome scene. One of my favorite scenes in that movie. So fucking cool, because she's like, gotcha.
But was it? It was him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it him?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think she was right that the brother only did the one part in the house.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Because that's how he got. Never know. That's how he got there quickly.
Yeah.
And the suit never glitched, either.
That's right.
New suit, different suit. Makes sense now.
But the suit didn't glitch. Oh wait, yeah, he never used the suit again.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so yeah.
I'm just like understand that.
Right, and that'll lead us into things that pissed us off. The fucking convenient. What did I call it? What did we call it?
Oh.
Movie convenience?
It was convenience. We said, oh, it just so happens that it only glitches when they're not looking.
Yeah. It's like, oh, he's behind you. Glitches. Man turns around. Nope, he's gone.
Glitches.
Guy turns back around. Glitches again. Can't see him because he's behind him.
But then as soon as he sees him, fucking gets killed because this guy is quicker than they are.
Oh, yeah, he's already right there.
And he has the gun that they were holding.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
he was pretty buff, though. He's pretty smart.
Yeah, back to that shower scene. Shit, what was I saying?
What was your favorite scene?
Oh, yeah. But no, the first cop to come in, sees him, like, in his suit. Like, it's not just an invisible dude holding a gun. It's like, no, there's clearly a man. Granted, not what you'd expect to see. But I remember yelling, dude, do your job. Shoot him. And he pulls out like a stun gun, and Adrian, the evil husband, just like uses it on the cop. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? You just stood there for like 5 seconds too long before you just got tased by your own taser.
But I don't think he died.
Oh,
but that's irrelevant. Doesn't matter.
Dead or not. And then like even the main dude. I'm sorry, I don't know literally any of these the actors and actresses. I don't know names. So I apologize for that. You mean
Cecilia?
The
woman? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any of them.
They call her C.
C? Okay. Because Cecilia is like a very song name. Cecilia.
I have never heard of a song.
Rhymes with necrophilia.
Well, please don't talk about that. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like at the end when her friend. Was their relationship ever?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think he was just a family friend.
Helping out, yeah. But it's like, yeah, dude, the dude's there. You're getting choked. And then he just holds a gun. And it's like, don't hold it. If it's not aimed at your daughter, shoot.
Yeah.
Maybe you hit him. Maybe you scare him. But you got your ass whooped. And then he's like, and then later after, I will do whatever I can to help you. It's like, no, you're useless against an invisible guy.
She was the one who fucking killed the guy.
Yeah, with the fire extinguisher. She was badass as fuck.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's because she was fed up with it. Because, in my opinion, if I would draw the line right there in that freaking restaurant. Mm-hmm. The fact that, like, you immediately become a murderer when you have no intent to your sister. That would drive a fire in me so bad, and I applaud her.
It's like, yep, I am done being scared. This guy has to die so I can live my life. And ultimately, that's what she had to do.
Yeah.
It sucks. You technically were a murderer, and in murder cases, if there were a sequel, or if they were behind the scenes, or an Easter egg, or like an end scene where it's like, How do you fight that? I don't know if they use emotion, and it's like, I get it. That's what you had to do. But it's like, no, technically, even though you had the right to, you still committed murder. You're in prison.
Well, she didn't really commit murder. She did, but like she defended herself, and yeah, maybe it'd be hard to live with yourself if you killed someone, but to somebody who killed their sister, drove you nuts to the point where you thought you might be crazy.
Yeah.
And then tried to kill your family.
So, yeah.
They were threatening, he was threatening all of them. And I said, I would say, fuck it. You know what? I'm done.
Like, justifiably, like in court,
yes.
I could be like, look, he did all of these things and no one believed me. And to stop him, he stopped thanks to me.
Yeah, but she didn't have to do any of that. But why? Why didn't she have to do any of that? Because she fucking planned out a perfect plan to put a camera exactly where he was sitting, remember?
Yes, and not... And she knew when she was off camera. Yes.
Yeah. But the fact that he looks like he is literally picking up this knife, taking it across his throat, throwing it down, and then she comes in 5 minutes later.
There was the scene, like the one scene when we finally see him in the suit, and the suit's broken, and it's like, okay, cool. We're no longer scared. Like, I remember you said, oh yeah, it's just a man in a suit now. It's not really that scary. And it's like, yeah. So at the end scene with the whole dining room and the camera, I wish they would have tried not to throw us off one more time. Granted, it worked.
It did.
It really threw me off because I was like, well, wait a minute, she's in the bathroom. Who the fuck? And it's like, no, let's just assume she was super, super fast. It's a ghost. Let's just assume she was super, super fast and ran back, took off the suit, blah, blah, blah. I just wish they would have shown us. It's like, we don't need to be surprised anymore.
Well,
there's like 2 minutes left of the movie.
It.
I did.
I like that little last.
But I like when things are explained and we can see their plan. And it's like, oh, dude, that fucking... And not just like... So I'm just going to assume that she just took off the suit super fast, things like that. It's like Avengers Endgame. A year after it came out in theaters and people still have theories.
I like theories. I like opening it. Unless it has to do with like the ending itself. So like if it ends and just ends, I get pissed. I'm like, there's no resolution. Yeah. But the fact that you don't know all this and then it's like a last little surprise thrown in there, I'm like, okay, I get it.
The movie itself was already about a dude we couldn't see. So I want more answers than questions. But I'm not going to say it took away from the ending. I was just like, it just would have been really cool to see how her mind worked. Because the whole movie...
But you kind of know, in a sense, because she's screaming and you think, oh my God, she's really screaming. And then she walks away from the camera and she's all like, I'm badass. I just killed that bitch.
100% knew, yeah, this was planned and you were the only one behind it. But it was just like the whole movie, she was just crazy, constantly like, this is going to sound sexist, but no makeup, just clearly like driven crazy at the end of your rope. You look physically drained and exhausted.
She can't sleep.
And then it's like, oh, I really actually wanted to see her in action as a badass. Because straight up, dude, I really got Jamie Lee Curtis new Halloween vibes.
Yeah.
How people are just like, no, he's locked up. And she's like, I'm preparing for him.
So like that kind of Home Alone you were talking about, like where you actually see all the steps she takes.
I love those movies. Like, I think during the movie I mentioned I can't remember why, but I mentioned something about Sherlock Holmes.
Did you?
Yeah, because I said, at the end of it, they finally reveal how they did everything. And it's like, oh, you faked your death by eating a plant that slows your pulse to 0. Or your pulse. I say words with U and L's word. I say the UL words incorrectly. I don't think they're wrong. But evidently the way I say uncle is wrong. It's uncle.
Uncle. That is weird.
Whatever.
Oompa. Loompa.
Umpa. Umpa. Da-ba-dee. Da. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not going to say it took away from the end of the movie, but I feel like it would have actually given her character a little more, like a better time to shine.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you're finally in control. And I feel like she was playing the whole being scared and freaked out and saying, you need to tell me the truth.
Obviously, because she was, because she wanted him to see, like, oh, now I have her. Now I'm in control again.
I just wish it would have been a little more apparent, because I love when I'm just like,
I'm telling you, it was
awesome.
at the end. And then she walked up those damn stairs. She said, you know what? You have it all on camera? And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't see anything.
I honestly, when, I hate to keep calling him the black dude, but I just don't know his name. I don't remember his Jason. Or, what was his name in the movie?
Oh God.
There was David.
They didn't really say it a lot,
Was
so
it
I don't
David?
know.
Or James? James.
James
was his name.
Now that you
when
say that.
James went back into the house, I thought he was gonna like start putting pieces of it together, and we were gonna see how an outsider like saw how it happened, and then we didn't. And I was like,
No, but he saw the suit and then was like, you know what? I'm not gonna I believe you now. 100%.
He straight up was like, yep, you are a murderer, but I get it, so I'm calling it a suicide with you.
Because he trusts her now, and he should have trusted her in the beginning. I mean, I don't want to say he should have trusted her, because...
The daughter getting hit was a big thing.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's another thing that pissed me off, because we were just literally saying, you know what, I like her. I like the fact that they're together and they're having their family time, and they...
And then it's like,
hits
no,
her,
you just tore away everything.
Yeah, in 2 seconds.
It's like he's smart. He's constantly getting her isolated. Which, by the way, you guys should be doing. All right, back to the regularly scheduled programming. But yeah, I distracted myself.
We were talking about when she was being isolated in a room, and every time that she was isolated, or even in public, like we were talking about, he would find a way to make it her fault.
Yeah, and I completely got it when James, he went into dad mode. He went into parent mode.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. You're excused. The sister part with the email, I got that too. But then it's like, yo, listen to your sister. Try to hear her out. You just closed the fucking door. I mean, granted, you did just read an email that you believed was from her and said things like, I hate you, I wish you were dead, and you were annoying to me, and things. It's like yeah, hard to read.
How would you, unless she has acted like that before, I wouldn't believe it.
But so it's like,
I don't know.
You just, where were you at 5:53 this morning? Asleep? Oh, tell me more, because that was when the email was sent. And they didn't do that. And it's like, damn, they were just letting Adrian win. I keep thinking someone's name is David. They just keep letting...
Was it the brother, maybe?
I don't know. He's just that dude from Pirates of the Caribbean for some reason. He kept winning. He was winning this whole movie. But, nonetheless, was actually a really good movie. And it did get me at some points. Like, you always want to go and like, oh, I'm not scared. I'm going to be tough. But it's like, no, you fucking... No, I'm in definitely. Suspense.
Like, you heard me throughout the movie. I'm just... I hate this. I hate this so much.
That was like
because it panned.
Dude...
And then you called it. You said,
I was just like,
watch it, just pan across the room and something's going to move or something.
Because it was it was focusing on her. Her back was towards the camera. She was just pulling like a dress out of a bag. I was like, dude.
Watch it pan.
He's in the room with her. Watch it pan to the right. And then it panned and I was like, what the fuck? Tori, what is happening? But this gave me very similar emotions to A Quiet Place, because A Quiet Place had to be quiet, and when sound was made, you jumped and you were in constant anticipation of that. Mm-hmm. And in this one, I was like, bro, he's there. He's in,
even the slightest noise.
Don't know, like, I'm constantly looking in the background.
Oh yeah, watching everything.
Oh yeah, when she was talking to the brother and there was an air hockey table in the background. Like, by the way, what a fucking rich prick kind of office to have an air hockey table. I was like, is it gonna move? Does he want to, like, make things move just to freak her out? But he probably also doesn't want to do it in case someone sees it, you know?
But I like that, because it would have been pretentious. You would have, like, just expecting everything in the background to move each scene is kind of like, okay, now it's over. But when it's relevant, like the knife, and relevant, like, what was the other thing? I mean, the blanket was in the background, but it just... I think that it only did it pertaining to that certain thing that were like it had to tie into the movie. Yeah, it's good that you mentioned that blanket part, because pretty much what I was explaining with him, just is he going to keep moving things?
Like the blanket thing, it was like, oh my god, he's gonna keep doing shit like this. But it was like, no, I'm doing this to let you know that I'm here, and now the fun can begin. It's
Ew, that's so creepy.
And then with the footprints, I'm like, dude, you're close. You're like in front of her.
I would have fucking punched him. I mean, he's strong, yeah, but like I would have done it like.
And then if he's not there, you just punch the air. And
well, what you do is you pretend to be scared, like she did at one point in time, and then you just fucking go at him. Like...
I think we've talked about this movie as much as we know we have not. When you Googled Invisible Man, when we paused it, so you could have a bowl of Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios, right? They're low in cholesterol.
Yeah, they were okay.
You mentioned Johnny Depp.
Yeah, and well, only because I was looking at cast because you said something about the guy in it.
He originally was casted as Invisible Man back when it was like before The Mummy Returns with Tom Cruise.
Oh wow!
Because Universal was going to do a MonsterVerse.
Oh.
And Angelina Jolie was casted as Bride of Frankenstein. I might be super wrong with that, but she was casted as a main, and they were going to do that. But then I think they either changed it, or maybe they wanted to do like The Mummy as the first movie, but it flopped, and so they kind of canceled it. And so I remember before we watched this movie, I was like, "Yo, is this the Invisible Man? Like the actual like Universal monster, like Mummy, Frankenstein?" And this wasn't.
No, I don't think it was the one that was planned, but obviously
kind of like
they changed it to their own liking.
You haven't seen it, but it's kind of like the argument of like, was the Joker, like was Joaquin Phoenix's Joker the actual Joker we know? And it's like, not really. And I think Todd Phillips, the director of that movie, has said it's not. It's like, it's a different Joker.
Actually, that would be a good leeway into another movie, because if you think they have an actual reason for someone to turn invisible. They have the equipment to do so.
So they could make
someone
these real.
else could get that easily.
And then it'd probably be easy to create a real life Frankenstein.
Or she could even be the invisible
or Frankenstein's monster. Yeah, I'm just like,
woman.
Do you think these movies, like, do you even think that was it, Jesus, now I have a lot of thoughts. Was this supposed to be like that kind of Invisible Man? Or is it just a man who's invisible?
The story seems so specific.
I have to look it up real quick, and this is really important.
I don't think because, I mean...
Was it called... No, it's The Invisible Man. See, if it was just invisible... Oh, wait, no. I feel like if you put the in front of something... It's the only one. It's the only one, and they did.
That's not true, because the Fast and Furious.
Well, how about, like, what if it was called The Iron Man?
That would be lame.
But it's just called Iron Man. So I don't know. I feel like that's just...
I think there wasn't there the Iron Man?
Yeah, I have no idea. That could just be up to interpretation.
Oh, the Iron Giant.
But I feel like if you call it... If you say The Invisible Man, and then you have The Mummy.
Yeah.
And then at one point you kind of have a series. But if it's just Invisible Man, and then Frankenstein, and then Mummy, then you also have a series.
You can also probably argue that Invisible Man could be the only Invisible Man, but the Invisible Man could be one particular story.
Yes.
So it could go either way.
We'll go with that. I doubt Blumhouse... God damn it. I think it's Bloom. Fuck! I doubt Blumhouse is gonna kickstart a whole new... It's like, ooh, Blumhouse Productions, The Mummy.
I think they're more of just a one-time movie thing. I mean, sometimes they have sequels, but usually it's always one movie and it ends sometimes very badly, because I've watched, like, what was it? Was Oculus? Was that a Blumhouse movie? Because if it was,
probably.
I did not like that ending at all.
Let me Google it. And I might look it up on Wikipedia later, but it's like, yeah, The Invisible Man, that's like a movie. That's like or not a movie, that's like a story owned, I think, by Universal. I might be wrong on that, but it's like,
there's so many different
Did they get permission to use The Invisible Man? Because it could have just been about a person who's invisible, and it could have just been titled something like Unseen.
Well, like the Hollow Man, for example, is an actual... He is invisible. There's no suit. There's no nothing. He turned himself invisible. So this is a different type of story, because he is a smart guy that makes cameras as a suit to reflect off of whatever light or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Like, everyone... That's how, like, the Marvel movies did...
And that does seem like a Marvel thing.
Produced by Jason Blum. Oculus. You're right.
I was right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I swear
And it said Mike Flanagan. I don't think that was the guy who directed, but I swear I saw that name in the credits for this movie. I may be wrong.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, jeez. My throat choked on itself.
Mine has been doing that a lot. I think it's the weather.
Yeah, I'm like breathing in, and it's like, you need water. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, it would be cool to see modern. This is like what people are doing with like Grimm fairy tales now. Like we said, Hansel and Gretel. Like people are just doing different takes of the same characters we know. And so whether or not they meant to give a modern take on The Invisible Man, because I think The Invisible Man is a movie from like the fucking 30s or something.
You know, speaking of that, not to go completely off topic, possibly, Frozen was
Please, Tori, get back on track.
It wasn't a Grimm fairy tale. I just can't remember who.
Hans.
Yes. And that's where they got the name.
I believe. Yeah.
That's where they got the name, I think, for the villain in that. But she was supposed to be the evil queen.
Yeah, well, the Snow Queen, yeah, right? I think that's what it is.
Yes, Snow Queen.
But plus, it's like anyone in Russia, their names are either going to be Ivan or Vladimir. So
that is not true.
Hans, yeah.
Anyway, that is the name of the original novel, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And don't they include? I think pretty sure they include that in the second movie.
Like an Easter egg?
Yeah, I think they say, "Oh, what book are you reading?" And I think it was in the second one and not the first one. I can't remember which one.
It probably was the second one if it's more adultish.
I can't remember. It was one of the movies that came out.
Could have been. But also, now that you mention that with Easter eggs, I don't think The Invisible Man referenced that. It was just a man who was invisible.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even an invisible man. It was just a man who wore a suit that made him invisible.
Exactly.
I don't know anything about the original Invisible Man. He probably, for all we know, is just actually invisible. Or was a scientist and found out something. I don't care.
I believe that one more than
I don't know if I'll ever watch, like, the 1930s version. It'd be cool. I guess we could do that eventually. Just for
you know
fun.
what? I say that we watch all the old original monster movies and then or even, remakes or both, and then we can go back here and make a podcast about it.
Maybe
for the future.
Like, legit, this is not a bit. We're just coming up with this on the spot, so don't expect anything from it. But we could do it because it would be really cool.
I have, like, all those movies.
Do you?
Somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't think it was a take. I mean, it was like, oh, here's a story about a guy who's invisible. What can we do with it to make it scary? I don't think it'll kickstart anything.
It was just a good movie about a woman escaping her abusive boyfriend or husband. Just like referencing or going back to when Jennifer Lopez did it. And she did amazing. Cause I think it was Gigi. I can't remember the freaking name of the movie. But she like finally says, I'm fed up with it. And I love it. I hate to say it, but I love
girl empowerment.
Women empowerment. And I'm not like a feminist or anything. I see people as equal. But
well, no, I'll defend you on that because it's like, we don't want a woman as president because women can't control anything, and then women have to rely on men, and men have to be handymen. So
none of that is really true anymore.
There is something really cool about watching a woman be like, look, these dudes that I'm trying to confide in suck. They're not helping, so I have to rely on myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And she gets shit done. She was the only one to get shit done multiple times in this movie.
Yeah.
So I commend you, Cecilia. Let me look up her real name. I feel bad.
Yeah. Might as well give credit where credit's due.
Invisible Man. The Invisible Man. Her name is Elizabeth Moss. I recognize that name.
Is she sister of
She's in The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, she's actually pretty popular. She is in I knew she
Girl Interrupted sounds familiar, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a decent movie.
Get Him to the Greek.
Yeah.
She's in Us, which I haven't seen.
Oh.
Did you hear about The Morgans? I haven't seen that, but I know what it is. Is that Brad Pitt? She might be in a Brad Pitt movie. Well, you can say she's pretty popular. I haven't seen any of these.
Well, movies. She's popular in society. I don't really watch any of those.
Okay.
But I've seen her before.
The name just sounds super familiar, but
You're
I recognize.
You're thinking of Kate Moss, who she possibly would be a sister.
Possibly. Let's Google Kate
Why
Moss.
Why not? This is going to be a fun little...
Kate Moss is a model.
I was like, what the hell's a model?
You know, like a supermodel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's a model. No, her sister is Charlotte Moss.
Okay. Whenever I hear like a same last name and...
Yeah. But it's good to pay a tribute to the actual actors. But I am glad, as I mentioned earlier, that it wasn't one I recognized. Well, it could have been, but it's just...
It more so not a big one, like, that you see in every
like,
single
what
movie.
if it was Megan Fox? I'd be like, Megan Fox, what you doing?
I'm not a fan of her movies. I mean, she's okay. Like
Jennifer's Body was like, you're done.
It was okay.
That was gross to me.
Yeah.
Well... do you think this will get a sequel? I think that's where I was going with, was like, is this part of a universe now?
It doesn't need a sequel.
Yeah.
It doesn't need
fucking Happy Death Day didn't need a fucking sequel.
Yeah.
If anything.
But I actually liked them going more into the story because Happy Death Day, you're like, oh, okay, that's a good movie. And it did so well, but then it went into like more of a science-y,
it was
really
like,
cool.
Oh, that makes sense as to why this is happening, and it's not just a supernatural phenomenon of Groundhog Day. But it's like, also, I was fine with it being a murdery Groundhog Day.
I mean, I'm sure were fine with it, but it kind of goes more into explanation, and then and I feel like it can end there if it wanted to.
Anyway, to segue off that, if anything, I thought Happy Death Day 2U needs a sequel. Because once I got done watching it, I was like, yeah, make another one of these. Fuck it.
Might as well.
Yeah.
But I would love them to do a different take or a different person, but still keep her in it, obviously.
Yeah, but I don't think they do this often. I don't think they take movies like this and make sequels.
Not usually. They
just make a bunch of these kind of movies. Granted, having a dude dress up as an invisible guy...
That was all him.
That's new.
That was all his brain.
Yeah, I was like,
dude.
I've never watched a movie where a guy is like invisible. Maybe like camouflage, but not in this way. So,
yep, that was a
good movie, guys.
Go see it.
If you are,
I really hope that you've seen it before we talk about this.
If you have access to the internet and you, for some reason, like movies being completely spoiled for you, and then you feel like spending $19.99 and some tax money, it's on Vudu. You can watch it.
Yeah. I mean, we just explained all the best parts, but I would see it for yourself if you haven't.
Yeah. So this podcast will probably get 2 views because no one can really watch it or listen to it. They're like,
not yet.
I can't watch it, but it's also, I don't want to get spoiled. I haven't watched it, blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
The only reason why I could see this actually, going on is if someone's like, you know what, I'm not going to watch this movie. I'm just going to listen.
I follow like just a really small handful of movie reviewers, and it was interesting for them to post their inevitable, guys, movies are shut down. I don't know what to do now. However, I actually do have a lot to do. So forever long movies, the theaters will be off limits. I still think you and I have enough ideas to make podcasts and content.
You can make them without actually watching movies in theaters.
Oh yeah, I could be like, yo, Tori, let's talk about our favorite movies. Go. Don't. That's for a future podcast.
Yeah.
I have it written down on a dry erase board.
I have my favorite movies, my favorite directors.
There we go. So yeah, we will continue pushing out content just at the speed of Bill Hader's snail in Monsters University. Son, the semester's over. Darn it. Yeah. All right, guys. Let me just quickly think. I'm believe.
Pretty sure you covered all the odds and ends.
Sorry if you guys are streaming a bunch of shit on Netflix and they're making you watch it in standard definition. That's just how the world is operating right now. Man. It's funny. I think it. Well, okay. I don't want to say it's funny. But you
don't like it.
I remember reading an article and it was like, Netflix asks you to watch in standard definition so you don't, quote unquote, break the internet. It straight up said that. I started chuckling.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That way it's not ruining it for everyone else.
Just be calm. Everyone, wash your hands and have fun by yourself in your home. Seriously, you guys pay to live there. Enjoy.
Make some hobbies.
But I do apologize to you if you guys were affected in the workplace. Tori and I, unfortunately, and fortunately, are deemed essential. So we will continue to go to work.
Hopefully not get infected.
Yeah. So far, we're good. I mean, we haven't gotten tested because I hear that's expensive. But I seriously don't want to talk about that at all.
Yeah, no.
Pound it out, Tori. All right, babe. All right. I love you. And I love you guys. Any last things?
Nope. I think we covered it all. It was a good movie.
See, this is just what I wanted from The Invisible Man. I was like, please give me
It gave me a rush. I like the ending. I'd see it again.
Give me end credits. I want more. Not because I needed more. I wanted more.
That was exactly the ending I would ask for. She came out. She was like, I could breathe. I don't have to worry anymore.
I would not have been.
I felt that.
I would not have been disappointed with 5 extra minutes. That's just how I like those kind of movies. Like, real quick, Shawshank Redemption at the end when they explain it all, I was like, thank you. If they wouldn't have done that, fuck you. All right. Bye.
We're out.
You want to do that? I wasn't doing Hunger Games. But I'm glad we brought that back.